In the NFC North, where the battles rage wild, hosts gather on who will be king undefiled. Pay for the Bears, June and Foster for the Lions, Roar, Dave for the Vikings, in Skull evermore. Vikings crushed by the Chargers 37-10, winced in pain. Defense soft as a hen. Bears streak snapped by the Ravens 30-16. Caleb's pick sealed it. A frustrating scene. Packers surged back on the Steelers 35-25. Love's MVP fire kept their dream alive. Lions on the bye, but Hutchinson deal so grand. 180 million edge rusher command. Week 9 previews loom with the division fire. Vikings at Lions. Bears, Bengals in fire. Packers at Panthers. Who'll wear the crown? Tune in, ye fans, for the Thrones Showdown. Let the battles begin. And here we are gathered for a Wednesday feast of NFC North football. And as you heard, Pay was making his protein drink. I'm pouring my Irish whiskey instead. And Foster's sitting there smiling. Hey, guys, how's it going? Pay, how you doing?
Can you believe we're halfway through the season already?
Yes.
Jeez. Time's flying in more ways than one. That is the theme of the week. How's it going, Dave? Feel like it's been a while.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? But it was only last Wednesday. But, Foster, how are things in Detroit?
Things are going well. I'm excited to be off the bye week because that just seems like, you want to talk about a long week, the bye week is the longest.
Yes, it is. But hey, it's over. All 4 teams are over. And so we don't have to worry about it anymore. So, oops, I did not want to do that. Now, we can start off with last week's episodes. The games. Hey, you want to tell us about your Bears and how they did against the Ravens?
It was a what do you call it? Gut check game, Dave.
Oh, is that what
coming into that game? Because we can go a little lower than gut, but I'm trying to keep it PG. It's one of those times. The Bears are coming off four consecutive wins, longest win streak since 2018. The Ravens on the opposite side coming out of a bye as a 1-5 team, but the Ravens have all the respect in the world. They have been one of the premier franchises in the last 25 years, ever since they got to Baltimore. So you definitely wanted to use this game as a measuring stick of where you were. Can you show up to beat a team that's desperate? Show up to beat a team who had 11 Pro Bowlers last year, even though half of those are on the injury report or on IR. Still, you wanted to do that. Unfortunately, the Bears could not do that. Self-inflicted wounds. The Bears did it again. They beat Rabbit themselves. They had a chance to do some things, but if you watch the game the first quarter, they outgained the Ravens 185 yards to 1, I believe, something along those lines, and then it completely flipped after that. Caleb was better. He was better than the week before. He was better than the week prior to that, but he was still a little inconsistent, still missing some things. As you said in the monologue, his late game interception kind of sealed the deal there, put the team down by 14, caused a lot of people to lose a lot of money, me included. So, and there were some other things, 11 penalties.
Never bet on the home team.
Well, I didn't bet on the whole team.
Well, your team, Because then you bet with your heart versus your mind.
Well, my mind told me there's no way that this team should be a 7.5 point underdog. And I took that, and it looked like it was going to cash for a while, and then interception. Wow. But yeah, so like I said, B Rabbit is the name of this week. The Bears shot themselves, self-inflicted wound. Had a chance to do some things, but they just couldn't get it done there, Dave.
Cheddar Bob.
Oh, that's right. I said B Rabbit. Cheddar Bob is the one. You're right. Shout out to
Detroiters know.
I Cheddar Bob myself there with the reference.
In the other division game, Green Bay hosted Pittsburgh Steelers. And Pittsburgh was leading throughout the first half into the second half. And we actually thought Aaron Rodgers may pull it off. Wrong. It was bad. Jordan Love, the professional quarterback, woke up and just demolished him. And Tucker Kraft emerged with 7 catches and 143 yards on National Tight End Day, which was a theme all weekend, and tight ends were catching the ball all weekend. But Aaron Rodgers he's washed. And I'm sure our buddies over in Pittsburgh are crying as much as at least I am this week. So it is as bad as it turns out to be. They are number one in the division. Or not in the division, in the division and the NFC. Because that stupid tie, thanks to you, Dallas Cowboys. So it is what it is. Hey, I want to welcome everybody that's joined us today. Fork and Skull, Dylan, Chevy, Justin, you guys rock. But that brings me to my game. Last Thursday night. Oh, the misery. The Vikings lost to the Chargers 37-10, and it wasn't even that close. Carson Wentz was in physical pain almost all game because of a torn labrum, busted shoulder socket, and rib injuries. And yet, would they pull him? No, not until the last drive of the fourth quarter. Why? Because he said, I'm in there. I'm good, coach. I'm good. It was crazy. But we've found some deficiencies on our team. And it is that if you go heavy against us, we don't have the answers. And by heavy, I mean at least 2 tight ends. We do not have the answers. And I was listening today and to Schumer Sports, and they said if you go heavy and throw out of it, you'd have a double the EPA than normal passes. It was horrible. I've talked about it enough. I'm still pissed off from last Thursday. Hopefully this weekend will change it because we all know JJ McCarthy is going to start against the Detroit Lions, and JJ McCarthy has never lost in Michigan. Never. Now, Carson Wentz had never lost a Thursday night game either, but hey, there's always a first. Let's hope we have only one first. But that's your Week 8 abbreviated recap, unless you guys want to add anything more.
I thought when you said teams are being very successful when they come heavy at you, Dave, I thought you was making a Junior Soprano reference. I'm like, wow, what kind of I know football is a violent sport, but geez.
Oh, it's been very much like the Sopranos. They just it's frustrating. Absolutely frustrating, but we're here to look at the positive. And the positive was Foster's team, the Lions, were on the bye. So they could not get further ahead of us, either the Bears or the Vikings this week, except for they announced an extension. Tell us about it, Foster.
Aiden Hutchinson was extended an additional 4 years for $180 million, which I think about 141 of it being guaranteed. And this now with $45 million per year, that makes him the second highest paid edge rusher to just Mike and Parsons. I believe he passed one of the Bosa brothers at the 41. I think that he's getting per year.
I read where he's the second highest paid edge rusher in the league now, but with the highest guarantee.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
Which I think is absolutely crazy, but go ahead. It's I saw somewhere where they're paying like 800 something million to your top 5 players over the next few years.
I'm seeing a lot of complaints about like, oh, how are they able to pay top dollar to the quarterback, the wide receiver, and the edge rusher? So I don't know. I don't do the books over there, but I'm sure they got that figured out.
It's oof. But congratulations to him. He's a good player. I'll give him that. And I got a fly here buzzing around. Driving me crazy. Oh, it only comes out when I'm doing shows.
Right.
If it starts landing on a mic, it makes weird bzz, bzz sounds.
Oh, God.
But anyways, well, that's what happened this week. As we all now prepare for noon games. But first, let's do a quick break for what kind of popcorn did they pay?
Best popcorn in the world, Garrett's Popcorn.
For Garrett's Popcorn. Right after this music. All right, now we're back. I know that was a quick first segment, quicker than normal, but hey, it is what it is. Foster has to boogie out of here early. So we'll start with the Week 9 previews. Like I said, all 3 games are at noon. Vikings get 8 noon games in a row, which is amazing, considering we had, I think, only 1 or 2 the first half of the season. But we're going to start off with Minnesota Vikings visiting the Detroit Lions. Tell me what you think about this, Foster.
Well, this is obviously the Lions got an extra week to prepare for JJ McCarthy. So we should be very loaded up with hopefully some more healthy players. We got Malcolm Rodriguez opening. His window is now open to return. Terrion Arnold is a full participant at practice. And we're still waiting to see about Kirby Joseph and a couple other guys. But we should be I think that the assumption, regardless of Carson Wentz, being out, I think we were prepared for both, but I think the assumption that they were going to start JJ regardless. But the heavy emphasis this week has been for from Dan Campbell is to be more efficient on third down and in the red zone. We rank in the 20s in both those categories, and Dave already kind of gave the blueprint. We got 2 pretty good tight ends, in Brock Wright and Sam Laporta. So, maybe that'll be something that we'll look to exploit, especially in the red zone. That's when tight ends are heavily utilized. So, no excuses. We'll also be getting Brian Branch back, who has, seems very remorseful. He said he got baptized over the break. He's doing all type of things, but he even said that he couldn't even bear to watch the game, that he was out because he was just too, upset about it. So I think that you'll see a much more Zen mode, Brian Branch, coming into the game. And I think that they'll they'll hope to make things difficult for JJ McCarthy. I think that the Vikings will try to simplify things and put him in as many opportune situations as they can. But Shepard has shown up and got the team very prepared for these games. So it should be a good one.
Well, you don't have to worry about Carson Wentz because he's on season-ending IR.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the J.J. McCarthy show. We did sign a third quarterback yesterday, or this morning. Wolford was his last name. He's been around in the league like 6 or 7 years as a practice squatter, mainly. Started out with
I did want to ask you about Wentz there, Dave. Have you all heard that his agent is accusing the Vikings of, using him as a meat shield, so to speak?
No.
That's why when you said that he...
But I wouldn't doubt it.
I thought that's when you said that he was, forcing himself in or saying I'm good to go. In my head, I was thinking that's been contrary to what people are saying, that they kind of left him out to dry. But
no, he said, he kept telling the coaches, I'm good to go. He could play with the injury. And the injury was a torn labrum. And then every time the shoulder dislocated and popped back in, and eventually fractured the shoulder socket on his non-throwing arm. They braced it up, and they braced it up again last week. And it just got worse and worse. But he wanted to play. He's, the warrior in the arena. He knows that this may be his last chance to secure a starting job someplace else next year. And he wanted to play.
Right.
And so
he wanted that KOC Magic fairy dust. He's like, I got to get all of I can.
Yeah. To be Darnold or to be Jones or to be somebody like that. He wanted all that. Mm-hmm. So he toughed it through. He gritty player. I'll give him that.
It's a wild assumption of his to say, I can play through a torn labrum when he hasn't shown he can play through healthy on. So I mean, it's so bold, but it's very bold on him. But not as bold as Brian Branch finding God while on suspension.
He said he's been meaning to do it, but perfect timing. He says it sounded sarcastic. I couldn't tell if he was being serious or not.
Hey, it is. Hopefully he did. I wish him well. That's a good thing. Now, I do see that Kirby Joseph did not practice today. Neither did Craig Reynolds. So
Craig is the third string running back, and Sione Vaki, who was the running back behind them, who was kind of a special team specialist, has been ramping up. So I'm not too concerned about Reynolds, but Joseph. Dan Campbell kind of sounded like he said he's getting better is what he was able to say. He was not certain if he will be able to go.
Okay. You had Taylor Decker, Maddox, Avante Maddox, Al-Qadim Muhammad, limited practice. He can stay out. Malcolm Rodriguez, Daniel Thomas, Stone Vaki, and Tyrion Stub My Toe Arnold were all limited today. Whereas for the Vikings, we had CJ Ham, Jeff Okudah, which is surprising. Josh Oliver did not practice. Josh Oliver will not play. They've already said that because of an ankle injury last week. Jeff Okudah is due to concussion. CJ Ham due to a hand issue he suffered a few weeks ago. Jonathan Grenard, Brian O'Neill, Isaiah Rodgers, Christian Darrisaw, JJ McCarthy. Oh, no, pardon me. We get Isaiah Rodgers, Brian O'Neill, and Jonathan Grenard were limited, and Christian Darrisaw, J.J. McCarthy, and Andrew Van Ginkel. Yes, the Gink was a full practice.
The Gink.
That's what they call him.
Grenard's one that he can sit out if we have our own pick.
Hey, Andrew Van Ginkel's the one with all the Gink sixes, as we call it, the pick sixes. Oh, yeah. That he gets. And so we'll see. I suspect that Grenard, O'Neill, and Rodgers will all play, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Okuda, Dylan says Okuda's really a soft bench. We should talk about Jeff Okuda has not been the player we expected coming out of training camp. He looked great in training camp. Absolutely great. And we sent Mekhi Blackman packing, who played extremely well up until he tore his knee again. And yet we got Jeff Okuda, our CB3, who gets burned regularly. You told me.
We know that all too well. Bring them on. Bring them on.
All too well. And it's just so as the Vikings are not favored in this game. Shocking. They are, where is it? 8.5-point underdogs.
Wow.
At Ford Field. It's either going to be, I think after Thursday or Friday, I sent out, it's going to be a 50 burger that the Lions put on the Vikings, or it's going to be the biggest upset in league history to this date, for this season.
You think that'll be the biggest up? I'm not keeping track, but
you're considered what? The second best team in the NFC.
And you guys are what? Just one game under 500, or
one game under? We're 3-4.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but we're
wrong direction.
Yeah, we're going the wrong direction by far. Sort of like the Bears are.
Not ready for that? Okay.
Hey, I listen to frustrated Chicago sports fans. Hello, I watch the videos. Tish is right.
About what? Well, her opinions on Caleb is very. It's a spinning circle. It's a lot of myriad opinions about Caleb, but I think we're all in the same agreement that we are getting to our breaking point with this inconsistencies from our franchise quarterback. Yes, he was thought to be a Patrick Mahomes clone coming into the league, and I think we all need to push away from the table. Act like the clumps. You know what? I've had enough. Patrick Mahomes is one of one. To assume that there's going to be another Patrick Mahomes so soon to the original Patrick Mahomes is a bit of it's pie in the sky. I think we all should do a little recalibration on what we expect Caleb Williams to be, and however you come to that recalibration or wherever you land on that, we will all want it to be better than what we've seen. Now, his game on Sunday wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. There were some miscues. There's still that missing targets high, missing targets wide. I don't want to say not taking the check down, because he's done that pretty much this season. In fact, on that interception, I disagree with my two co-hosts that it was a terrible pass. Yes, it was a bad pass. He shouldn't have done it because best case scenario is an incompletion. The worst case scenario, Rome Gaduzzi catches that ball and he gets lit up by Marlon Humphreys. And even worse, it's a turnover, which is what happened. So, but we've all said that Caleb doesn't take the risk throws. His touchdown to interception rate is a little bit of a fugazi, right? Because he plays it safe a little too much for somebody of his age and his experience level. Well, I mean, that was a risky throw. He threw it in between three guys. He tried to thread the needle. If we were playing basketball, Rome Odunze was going for 30. He was hot. And Caleb was trying to feed him the ball as a quarterback should. And, just that didn't turn out right. But in any case, the Bears are going into have another get-right game in the Cincinnati Bengals, and back-to-back AFC North opponent on the road. I did expect Caleb to have a thunderous showing against that leaky Baltimore defense. But, I mean, Baltimore was doing a little shenanigans in the week with their injury reports. that kind of played into our demise a little bit, in my opinion. And they were coming off a bye week, so they had an extra time to prepare for the Bears, and they showed up. John Harbaugh in his career, they're like 10-1 coming out of a bye. So what happens. That's not the same case for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals are who we think they are. They just lost to the New York Jets. The New York Jets were going to beat somebody. And the answer to that trivia question, Cincinnati Bengals. They gave up 39 points to the New York Jets. The New York Jets don't know if they have a quarterback. New York Jets haven't been able to run the ball all season, and they scored 39 on those Bengals. Their running back threw a touchdown. That's how bad their defense is. I expect the Bears to fully exploit that defense over and over again. Now, there was some other news that the Bears had this today, Dave.
What's that?
Maybe the Bears have an issue on defense. As a matter of fact, they can't keep anybody themselves. They are down their nickel cornerback. They are down their best outside cornerback, and possibly Tyreek Steven, their second outside quarterback, probably might play either. He didn't play this past weekend. So we're very thin at cornerback. So what do? We have signed CJ Gardner Johnson.
That's right.
Okay. How much is he going to help?
Wow. He's a warm body, Dave. So he's already trending in the right direction. Another case, CJ has mostly played safety for the most part of his career, but when he came into the league, he was a nickel cornerback, and he transitioned to a safety. I don't like that you take for a cornerback to get transitioned to a safety that early in their career, then transition him back to a corner. That doesn't spell good things for me. But in 1996, Aaliyah came out with one of the best covers of all time, Choosy Lover. Why do I bring that up? The Bears cannot be choosy. If that's who's available, they got to take it, Dave. They got to take who's available, Dave. It's 4 a.m. Who's at the bar? You got to take somebody, and that's who CJ is right now. But see,
I'll be referencing Detroit artists, man.
I'm doing my thing to shout you all out this week, man. So
you are.
But CJ, the good thing is CJ did play with Dennis Allen while he was with New Orleans. CJ has a lot of experience playing for good teams. He like I said, he played in New Orleans when they won. Did they win it? Well, they did go to the championship game while he was there, and he played for the Philadelphia Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. So he's been in winning situations. He understands, at least to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we were nothing. What?
Well, okay. I did mention. I think there was a soft mention that he did play for Detroit, but I was
maybe I missed it.
Wait. He was he on the roster when you all went to the championship game? I didn't know.
We went to San Francisco. He was there.
Okay. My bad. So he's played in 3 different conference championship games. So hopefully all of this helps the Bears, to answer your question, Dave, because we're going to need a lot of help in defending T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. I can't pronounce the tight end's name. They got a lot of weapons over there in Cincinnati. And if you saw the over-under on this game, I think it's 52.5. Yeah, I see that. I see that number hitting in the third quarter.
I've got 51.5, but okay. I'll give you an extra point.
Maybe. So I would love to have a lot of confidence in the Bears coming out of this week 5-3, Dave, which would match our win total from last season. I mean, it's a coin toss. After last week, my reservations for the offense have been fully realized. The red zone offense for the Bears right now in the last month has been the worst in the league. Like I said, self-inflicted wounds, too many penalties, just harping back in on that red zone the red zone issues. We're seeing the kicker way too much. Cairo Santos, Moody, they're on the field way too much. When you're in the red zone, you got to put the ball over that line. And I don't know. Can the Bears fix some of those things on offense? Can the Bears find enough people to play defense? We shall see on Sunday. But Cincinnati is probably one of the best teams you want to see when you have all these issues right now.
Well, am I seeing that the Bengals are favored by 2.5 points?
That's fair. I mean, it's par for the course. The Bears are one, disrespected by the media, and two, they if we put all our cards on the table, what are we most sure about between the two teams? We know the Bengals can score.
You both wear orange.
Their orange is a little bit okay, I guess. We both wear orange. We're sure about that. But as far as what they do on the field, we know the Cincinnati Bengals offense can be potent. The Bears have questions on defense. I don't think the Bears defense is good. The Bears red zone offense is horrible. They shoot themselves in the foot time after time again. Maybe if Flacco can't go, he's also got a bum shoulder. If he can't go, he's possibly puts Jake Browning back on the field for the Bears, and we can light that ass up a little bit more. So I don't know, but Bears being an underdog by 2.5 points, a field goal game, the home team being favored by 2.5, I'm not mad at that. I think that's pretty much fair.
Okay, gotcha. You think the Bears are going to win, Foster?
This is in Chicago?
No, it's in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati. That's a coin flip, but I could see Chicago pulling out, especially if Jake Browning is playing. Much
Jake
to the
Browning
chagrin
come in and have the game of his life.
Yeah.
Oh, could be possible. Could be possible. There's only one more game in the division, and it's the Green Bay Packers hosting the Carolina Panthers. What's special about this game is the Green Bay Packers are going to be wearing their 23 uniforms. 1923 throwback uniforms with the leather helmets and all. Midnight blue jerseys, and they're cross between a gold and a tan, sort of a duck-colored pants and stripes. But
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, the Packers playing the game with the worst jerseys I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. But Packers enter week 9 with the strongest record in the NFC at 5-1-1. Thank you again, Dallas. Oh, yeah. Where Carolina sits at the bottom of the NFC South. It's Jordan Love's going to have a field day, in my opinion. The Packers are favored by 13 points. Now, 13, are you going to bet the underpay?
They're favored by 13. I saw that Chuba is basically getting kind of benched now. I'm not sure if Bryce is going to be back or if it's still going to be Red Rocket again. 13 is... The last time the Packers were favored by that much, they didn't cover. But I would shade the Packers to come close to that if all those things ring true. If Bryce doesn't play and some of the other things are happening, yeah, I would probably trend in that direction.
Mm-hmm. That was
good question.
I'm just hoping the Panthers pull out a miracle and defeat them bums. But I don't see it.
I think they beat the Cowboys.
They did.
Mm-hmm. We're going to see.
Players over there.
Unlike the Packers, bums.
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, it is what it is. Hopefully,
I like that show.
Panthers defeat them. But we'll see. But like I said, the game to watch, Is Minnesota at Detroit?
Always.
And for those that are watching CBS, it'll be Chicago. Chicago's pretty much the national game of CBS. Most of the nation get Chicago at the Bengals. And on Fox, it'll be most of the nation, not where I'm at, though, get the Vikings at the Lions. Do you know what uniforms you're wearing, Foster?
No idea.
No idea. We'll be in, I'm sure, the away game, white on purple, the traditional. But we'll see. But again, the Packers are wearing their 1923 throwbacks, leather helmet and all, which is a cool effect on a helmet, but hey.
The Depression era jerseys. Talking about the Packers makes me depression.
Yeah. You got that right. Packers would never survive prohibition. Not the fans, at least. But any last words there, gentlemen? Where can they find you?
You can hear me curse the Packers out and big up the Bears all week long at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channels, where we say Packers suck at least 17 times an episode. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Amazon Music, Pandora, and all the such, and everything is broadcast on YouTube. Check us out right there.
Where can they find you, Foster?
Bleachers to Speakers. We will have a pregame show probably Saturday morning to preview the battle against the Vikings. So stay tuned for that.
Hey, you can always tell them to come over to our show at 10 o'clock on Saturday mornings, where we do two old bloggers. And
gotta adjust our time. Make sure it's not the same. Doesn't clash there.
Where Darren and I and Drewster this week are going to be talking about the game where JJ McCarthy has not lost a game in Michigan. Over on Vikings First and Skol, where you can find us all. Anyways, gentlemen, what do they say in Chicago?
Bear down.
Foster, what do they say in Detroit? That ain't bad. And then, of course, in Minnesota, we say, Skol Vikings! Well, thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week. And for my fans, you got me thinking we need to do a private show and talk about Kwesi and the gang. Till then, adios, folks. Like, subscribe, and rate us on your favorite podcast aggregator. Thank you for listening to this NFC North group effort on the Fans First Sports Network. This has been a Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans, Bleachers to Speakers, Vikings First and Skol, and of course, the Fans First Sports Network production. Thank you for listening.